there's also the thing of the GRE, and I was like, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. I didn't want to take the GRE. Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Thrive with Paris. I'm Paris, for those of you that don't know me. I'm excited to do this video. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my decision to apply for grad school. For those who don't know, because I may or may not have mentioned it, but I am currently in graduate school to study counseling psychology with an emphasis in marriage family therapy. It kind of was my experience from working with kids that steered me to the career field of counseling. I knew that I wanted to do something with kids, but I wasn't sure in what capacity. At the time that counseling kind of entered my radar, I was working on my undergrad degree, and my degree was in what was my degree? My undergraduate degree was in recreation management. And basically that's because I was working at a nonprofit. I really liked running programs, doing summer camp. That's my jam. I really like doing stuff in the community, like things that actually help people. And so that was kind of what steered me to my first degree. I gave myself a year to find real work. It didn't pan out. That's another story for another time. But within that time, I learned a lot about myself. I really experienced a lot of growth. And so that was when I was like, you know what? Let's get more into counseling. I love working with kids. Like, I am a humongous kid myself. So anytime where I can not be serious and just crack jokes all day, I'm about it. I'm that staff with the kids. Like, I love it. And so I've worked with kids ranging from preschool to middle school, but it was kind of in my time of working with middle schoolers that really showed me, like, these kids are going through some shit. You know, it's crazy. Like, you wouldn't imagine what middle schoolers are going through, but like, they're going through it. And I remember middle school, and I wasn't dealing with half the stuff that they're dealing with. And so I saw that there was a need, and I also saw that there was something about me that made the kids gravitate towards me to want to like open up and like get advice and share all these stories. And I would tell them to my mom, who also happens to be a therapist. And she would always say, like, you know, you and I both do the same work, except for I get paid more than you. Like, you should really consider a career in counseling. And for me, I was like, I don't know. But just with enough stories and situations, I really started to like process and like, you know, really take her words serious. And so I found myself at a point where I knew I wanted to be a helper, but I still wasn't sure in what role. And that I wanted to go to grad school, whether or not my first degree ended up working out or not. But I was kind of on the fence between social work and counseling. And so for me, I didn't really have a great understanding of social work or counseling. So it took like a year of me kind of just like dabbling, doing some research here, some research there, talking to professionals in the field, reading stuff about like overall job satisfaction. And I found that counseling aligned more with like my needs and what I was looking for in a career. So I was like, bloop, I'm gonna be a therapist. And so I applied for a grad school, or I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I started applying to grad school, but like I didn't finish several times because I had these humongous pipe dreams of like all these schools I was gonna apply to. Then I realized that applying to grad school is not as easy as applying to undergraduate, because each university and each program is different. They have different requirements. They all want different personal statements. And I was like, ooh, I'm not writing all the personal statements, so let me narrow this down. There's also the thing of the GRE, and I was like, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. I didn't want to take the GRE. And so, yeah, I don't know if y'all can hear my mama yelling. It kind of limited my choices because I was so adamant about not wanting to take the GRE. But even then, I still dragged my feet on the application process. And it wasn't until I started working at this job that I freaking hated. It drove me up the wall crazy. Like, I was crying every day. It was stressful. I didn't like it. I just was like not feeling supported. I was like, I don't need to be here. And it was that bad opportunity that really pushed me to like, go finish your application, girl, because you don't need this. So I applied to grad school and I got in. And I love it. Like, I've been in it for finishing my first, not my first semester. I'm finishing my first year. 1 year down, 2 to go. First year in, and it has been a process. I just, I love it, but I also hate it sometimes. But I love it enough to stay. Like, it's a good hate, if that makes sense. Like, it has, being in this counseling program has pushed me so much. I've learned so much about myself already in a span of a few months. I've learned so much about people. I've learned so much about relationships and connections and just everything. And it's really pushed me as a person. It pushed me as a student. It's pushed me in my study habits. Like, it has pushed me so much. And even though it's been so emotional, because let me tell y'all, my first semester, they had me taking 13 units. You only need 9 units to be full-time in grad school, but my program is just popping. They had us taking 13 units our first semester. I knew I was going to die, but I was like, no, I got to stick it through because this is the test. They want to see who want to drop out, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it. So my first semester, 13 units. I got to the point halfway through the semester that I was renting out a private study room in the library just to cry in it. Yay, self-care. But it really, like, it also pushed me out of my comfort zone of not like being afraid to ask for help. That's kind of one of my weird things with school is I try to like do everything myself and I don't ask for help until like the point of that I'm drowning. And it's a lot of community. And so my cohort, my classmates who are starting their first year, they're so amazing. Shout out to my Gale Shouties. The Gales are mascot. I don't know what a Gale is, like a dude in a kilt or something. Woo, go Gales. But I love my classmates and they really like, they held my hand and we did it together. And so now I'm wrapping up my first year and I love it. And I just really want to, I really just want to, like, this message is for whoever is out there and they want to apply to school, but like, they're not sure. Just do it. Because the worst that can happen, the worst they can do is say no. I really would encourage you, if you're not happy in the space that you're in right now, if you're not happy with the way things are going at work, if you're not happy with the way things are going in your life, with your finances, whatever, like, school opens a lot of doors. Yes, it isn't for everybody, but for a lot of people, it is life-changing. And so if you're interested in your career in counseling, I would definitely recommend that you do your research and come join us. And for all of my people of color out there, I wanted to say that the counseling field, originally, it was like dominated by Caucasian men. You know, there is a significant presence of Caucasian men therapists as well as women, but for minorities of color and minorities of color that are women, there's a great disparity. And so there's a huge need for us, like huge. And so once you get your degree, you're guaranteed to make money because people need you. Like, this is one of those fields that's finally starting to diversify as more people realize that counseling, like, is okay. It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to go talk to someone about your feelings. You don't have to bottle it all up. But for a lot of people, they want to see someone that looks like them or that can relate to them. You know, it's difficult to sit in a session and try to talk about certain issues with someone who hasn't really experienced them or they don't really understand where you're coming from. Not saying that they can't be competent in that, but just as far as where it comes from for clients. Like sometimes clients want to see someone that looks like them and comes from where they come from, and someone that can relate to what they're going through. And so, for my people of color who may not be sure if counseling is for you, I would definitely encourage you to do well. You will thrive for sure because there's always a need. And for everybody else, like counseling, people need someone to talk to. The world is stressful, especially right now with this COVID-19. Everyone is losing their jobs, people battling their issues. So even if another recession hits, you will likely still have a job. And plus, there's so many different avenues that you can work with a counseling degree. It's not if there's private practice. You can have your own organization. You can work in schools. You can work at a college. Um, there's just so many avenues. There's just a lot of room for growth. And so I would recommend you apply for counseling program if you're on the fence about it. Like I said, I love it. I also wanted to add that when I was kind of on the fence about starting grad school, I mentioned it to a few of my undergrad professors, and one of them like suggested that I work in the field that I was in for about 5 years and make some money before I start grad school. And I'm honestly so glad that I did not listen to her. I did take a year off. I gave myself a year in between graduation and applying for school to like see what I can do with the degree I had, see if I make some waves in the field that I wanted to be in, or to see if none of that worked out. And I was going to take that as my sign, to go apply to school, which is what I did and which is what actually ended up happening. But I wanted to tell you guys, trust your gut. You know what you want. Sometimes we tell family or friends or associates like our plans, and if the reaction is not what we want from it, that can be kind of discouraging and we don't end up acting on it. And so that's why a lot of people say like you want to move in silence. Like don't tell people what you're doing until after you've already started. Like don't tell them you're thinking about it, because someone's always going to find a reason to like give you some other suggestion or not be as happy and supportive for you, and that is really discouraging. So if this is what you want, go for it. You can always stop. You can always change your mind. This is not a set in stone contract thing where like you have to finish it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it is definitely worth it. I know that a lot of people, the issues about going to grad school are because they've already started working, and so now they have to deal with juggling work and bills. And for me, I didn't have that issue yet, and so I'm like, well, why would I cut into working 40 hours a week for 5 years, after 5 years, to then go to school full time? Like that's going to be really stressful and a lot to handle. Why wouldn't I finish it now while I don't have as much going on? So for you, even if you do have this job and you're working full time, I would still advise you to do it. A lot of my classmates are juggling a full load and they make it work. Sometimes you just have to tailor things to what works best for you and your study habits and your educational style. For me, I'm like working part time on call. So like what is that? I don't know. It's like I'm barely there, but I'm there, but I'm not there. But hey y'all, but no, I'm not here. That's how I work. And so, but that works for me, and I'm fortunate enough that I have a support system in place. I live at home with my parents. But I have a support system in place that is supporting me and allowing me to do that, so that I don't have to overwork myself to balance working and all of that and balancing school. They understand that education is a priority, and so they're like, just get it done so you can get out. And I'm like, I'm trying to get it done so I can get out. So just trust your gut. Don't let anyone discourage you. Sometimes you gotta lay low, keep it quiet, make moves on the low. Sometimes you need support from other people, and so I would say go to those people that you know will uplift you and motivate you to get it done, because we need that. Sometimes it takes a community, and sometimes we don't need the community because the community be holding us back.